Hello and welcome to Hot Money Technicals on BloombergQuint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. This is a show which gets you complete wrap of all the stocks that are buzzing in trade. I'm Darshan Mehta. Let's welcome our guests on the show. Joining us today are Raja Venkatraman of Chart Advice along with Fidai, who is a technical analyst and mentor. Many thanks to both of my guests for joining me. Before we begin the show with our analysts, let's bring in Yash Upadhyay, who has a chart on IndusInd Bank. Yash, obviously the trend has been rather weak. Does the chart also indicate more weakness?
In fact, the charts are actually indicating a reversal over here. And we've seen most of these banking and financial names, they have been weak over the last several trading sessions. But then if you look at today's day of trade, the Bank Nifty is up closer to around 1%. And we are seeing most of these banking names make a new bottom over there and reversing. So IndusInd Bank is one of those names to watch out for. I've highlighted two lines over here, which is where it made a previous bottom around the mark of 1200 or so. The stock is currently 1250 or so. The stock is currently trading at 1266. So the risk to reward ratio is extremely favorable for someone who's looking to go long at current market price or even on dips. And most importantly, the RSI too is indicating that the stock may have been oversold after it fell over 10% from its recent peak, and it is showing signs of a divergence. The last time it went down to these levels and then it gave a positive move back above the mark of 30. We saw the stock go up from the levels of close to around 1400 to as high as 1575 or 1600 as well. So we are again seeing similar kind of a structure forming as far as IndusInd Bank is concerned. The risk to reward ratio seems extremely favorable right now.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on IndusInd Bank. A reversal is something that the Bloomberg terminal does indicate, but let's ask the same thing to our guest. Raja, do you see any kind of reversal happening on IndusInd?
If you look at the daily structure, the weekly structure is of course on the negative side, but if you look at the daily structure, yes, it has come into a good support zone around the 1200 to 1215 mark, and I would wait for a EOD bullish candle to develop, before which I would take a call on a reversal bet. But yes, the charts are indicating that the negative pressure is getting exhausted, and shadows at lower levels definitely a sign of some bullish momentum which you could expect.
Okay, so it's a bullish momentum that could expect. Fidai, is that something that you're seeing?
Well, if it crosses 1290, 1310, then yes, I can expect it to go to 1375 approximately. But on the downside, it needs to sustain about 1260, 65. If it doesn't, then we have a problem there, and it can go down all the way up to 1200 also. So below 1200, one should absolutely avoid.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on IndusInd Bank, but let's begin the discussion with our analyst, starting with Raja, who has a chart on Astral Poly. Obviously, the counter has managed to do well significantly, trading almost at new highs, but why are you bullish on the counter?
So what I've used here is Ichimoku setup, and you can see here that the price has been continuously going up steadily over the last few months. And what we are seeing here in this year especially is that after the consolidation and strong move which we have seen in the last year, there has been a further consolidation which we have witnessed over the last 1 month. And now we are witnessing a nice bullish formation on higher time frames, which is a signal that the bullish prospects are once again emerging in this counter. So what I have used here is the Ichimoku setup, where these two lines, one is the short-term line and one is the long-term line, the prices have actually consolidated around these zones, so which is around the 1100 to 1050 levels, and from there on the price has witnessed a nice bullish movement to the upside. So all this indicates that there could be further upward traction, and the RSI also has dipped down into the neutral zone. If you see in the bottom panel, the RSI has dipped down into the neutral zone, and it's once again indicating a potential reversal which is we are seeing on the charts. So combining the price and the momentum, we can expect some further upside in the coming months.
What does the cloud indicate?
The cloud indicates the thickness, and the thicker it is, it indicates the possibility of the strength which is there in this counter. So this is a positive cloud, so which is indicating that the bullishness is sustained over a large period of time.
So it's at 1195 currently. What's the ideal strategy for this stock?
Yeah, today it has actually given a nice dip after yesterday's strong rise. So you could use a stop loss below 1170 or 1160 as a tight stop loss, and further expect a further upside towards 1320 to 1375.
Okay, it's a positional bet on Astral Poly. Thanks so much for that, Raja. Fidai, what's your sense on the counter? Astral Poly?
Astral Poly is a continuous long-term, means it has gone up from 300 rupees to almost like 1200 now. And one can buy this on dips. Every dips to, any support to 200 DEMA should be accumulated, because the stock shows a good kind of momentum support over there. And on the upside, I think the stock, if it sustains above 1150, then we can see it go up to 1350, 1400 also in short term also.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on Astral Poly. Consensus positive view that's coming in. The next chart is from NS Fidai and it's on ONGC. Now let's see what ONGC has been doing of late. It's been consolidating and hasn't done much, but why should one buy ONGC? It's been an underperformer.
Like, yeah, it has been underperformer, but look at this price. It's a very straight horizontal line where it usually takes support, 115. If you look at this, I have connected 2 dots, and currently also it is resting on the same line. And let's say if we see a bit of a false breakdown, then this red line will come into play. So one should accumulate between this area, between red line and white line. And that is one can buy between 115, 110 and keep a tight stop loss just 2 rupees below 108. On the upside, I see the stock has a potential to go all the way up to 135. 150 and 175 in let's say 3 to 6 months kind of a time zone.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming
in. If you look at the RSI, look at this. Means RSI was at low when price was actually made a low, and now
let's have the chart also.
Can we have the chart together, please? Yeah. And if you look at this currently, the price has made a lower low, while RSI is making a higher low. So that's a clear-cut positive divergence. So positively, the stock has a huge potential. The risk of going short will, will not pay much on the downside. But on the upside, there are, much higher probabilities. So today I have, tried to cover all the stocks which are low risk stocks rather than go for, stocks which are.
So buy between 110 and 115,
yes,
and 108 is the stop loss.
Yeah, and you can buy at the current price also. And you can expect the price to go up to 135, 150, 175, even higher also. But one should have the patience to hold it.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Raja. Would you be a buyer in ONGC?
Looking at the structure of ONGC, yes, the prices have come into support region, but if you look at the structure overall, it needs to move above 125 levels, where I find immediate resistance. Above 125, it becomes a good potential for a low risk candidate, like NS rightly pointed out.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. Let's begin with the second round of charts. And Raja has a chart on IRCON International. If I'm not wrong, IRCON has managed to move up 5 to 6% today itself. It's rallied. Yes, it's up 30 rupees. But what's the trend that you're looking at it?
Yeah, see, if you take a look at the weekly charts, there has been a consistent rounding formation. Rounding is a signal of steady accumulation and further upside. So if you see here, this rise was given a nice breakout with a long body candle, and then there was a consolidation, and further now there's a consolidation and a strong move to the upside. So formation of these kind of patterns are a signal that steady bullish interest is building up in this counter. Now if you look at the bottom panel, I have used the ADX DMI setup, and the ADX DMI setup suggests that the green line, which is the strength of the bullishness, is gradually gone up to a nice strong point, and the ADX is also increasing. So what is shown on display is that there is strength building up on the bullish side. So combining the price and the momentum, we can advocate a strong bullish candidate in this count.
Okay, so it's at 485 currently. It's already moved to the day's high.
Correct.
What's the strategy?
So I also have a daily chart. It's plotted.
Yeah, I think it will be.
So if you see the daily chart too, I have used this pitchfork setup, and you can see here on the pitchfork, the prices are consolidating around the lower end of the channel. So which is a signal that there is steady buying interest developing at every pullback zone. And now on the bottom, on the daily chart, I have used the MACD indicator. MACD indicator now is showing you a fresh buy opportunity. So it was a fresh buy candidate as of yesterday, and that's why I have considered it as a buying opportunity for the next 2
So
weeks.
it's at 485. What's the ideal strategy?
Yeah, one can buy at current levels. So one can use dips towards, say, around 450 levels also to buy into. Place a stop loss below 420 for an upside towards 540.
540. That's the first target that you have. Okay, thanks so much for that. NS, what's your sense on IRCON?
I agree absolutely with Raja on this, and I would say one can hold the stock and buy on dips up to 460, 465, and on the downside keep a stop loss below 450ish. And upside targets, I also agree with him, up to 540 in near term, but can do much higher because the stock has broken out of into lifetime high zones, and it has a potential to go all the way up to 600 also.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on IRCON. The next chart is from NS Fidai and it's on Adani Ports. Let's pull up the chart and see what exactly the counter is doing and why Raja wants to recommend this. I'm sorry, why NS Fidai wants to recommend this stock.
Now look at this yellow line. Means the stock has been taking support on this has not gone below on closing basis ever. And if you take this one wild move on the stock on red line, and if we connect that and we see that the stock is not falling below this now currently, and today also it gave a very good strong move after taking support in this area. So the stock is actually available in a very good low risk area. One can buy this, and above 390 it will start gaining momentum. So right now if somebody wants to buy, one can buy this and make keep a small provision to add on dips up to means we can say you can say up to 395 up to 355 if it comes down, but keep a tight stop loss below 351. Okay, on the upside I see targets of something like 395 in extreme short term, but it can go to 420, 440 also. And the stock has, when you look at the long term chart, can we have weekly chart if possible?
No, I don't think we have
okay.
that.
So if you see weekly chart, actually the stock is breaking, overall structure is, you can say it's on the verge of breaking out into a lifetime high zones. So it needs to cross 420, 440. Once it does that, probably, that is the minor resistance at this moment, I would say. And maybe the budget could act as a fillip for this stock, because lots of things we are hearing about, infra story and all that. So government want to, push the ports and all. So probably we'll have a good kind of momentum here. On the RSI also, right now it is in a neutral territory, but stock has given a very good, means if you look at this, though we came into the same zone, but RSI has actually given a higher bottom compared to what we saw on the means earlier when it made the same bottom. So it is still showing lots of strength, and one can buy this stock, and like beyond, first target would be 395, but beyond 400 you can see 440 also in extreme short term.
Okay, thanks so much for that. Raja, would you be a buyer in Adani Ports?
It's definitely on my radar, but what I've observed is over the last 3 months it is actually getting bottled between a range of 390 to 360 zone. And I would definitely be waiting for it. It's shown a nice up move. So a move above 390 would be definitely on my watch list, and move above 390 could actually take it towards 420. And like NS pointed out, the budget which is in play, if that could actually add to the bullish momentum, we could look at it with a positive outlook.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in, and let's begin with the final round of charts. And the analyst and Raja has a chart on KRBL. Let's pull up the counter. I think KRBL came out with a steady set of numbers, and the counter, okay, it's not done well.
Yeah.
What's your strategy?
So the reason for choosing it was the strong move which we saw here and the consolidation. But after the decent numbers also, the prices are not witnessed, but overall structure seems to be positive. And the reason is that after a lagging momentum which we have seen over the last 4 months, the momentum has picked up to the upside. So consolidation at higher levels is an indication that the price could now move much further. So that's why I have chosen it as a buy candidate.
Okay, so it's at 277 currently, 278. What's the ideal strategy?
You could buy it at current levels. You could use dips towards say 270 to 265, also additional buying opportunity. Place a stop loss below 250 for an upside towards 320 to 340.
This will be a slow mover, right?
Yeah, it will be a slow mover.
Okay, that's one. And have volumes been supporting? Have you seen volumes over the last few days?
Yeah, volumes are supporting, and what you can see here is after this consolidation, there was not much volume here, but this breakout was with volume. So, and consolidation at the higher levels is definitely a signal of positive traction.
Okay, thanks so much for that. NS, what's your sense on KRBL?
One can buy this on dips right now, because today it has seen some rejection on the higher end. People are booking some profits in extreme short term, but can be bought on dips up to 255 and keep a tight stop loss below 248. On the upside, the momentum will start getting into the stock once it crosses 310, 312. Once it does that, then you can expect the price to give a almost 33-35% kind of move. That could be almost 400 plus kind of target on the upside.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in, and the last chart is on Coal India, and that's the chart that NS Fidai has. Let's pull up the chart. And in the meantime, the Nifty is up almost 100 points at the highest point of the day. So there is traction that's happening in the market. But Coal India, 192, why buy this counter?
Well, same, if you see this, we have got one more reason to buy. We have the good support from the bottoms, but this one also is coming into play, and today it gave exactly from that area. If you see this, it took support from there and it's jumping over from there. And the downside on the worst case scenario could be a dip to 175, 178. But that would be the worst case scenario. The best case scenario is actually playing out right now. And if you see any move beyond 195, you can expect it to go all the way up to 215 and even higher. My first target would be 215, just to the previous target, resistance area. But once it crosses 220, and then we can expect it to do much higher. This stock is actually available at dirt cheap levels. On the technically, it's like you can say lowest risk zone, and one can buy this. And the risk is very limited. If somebody wants to accumulate over a period of time, one can accumulate between 188, 186. And if it dips, one can buy up to 178 and keep a stop loss below 174. But if somebody wants to trade here, then one should keep a stop loss at 183 and hold the stock and exit at 215 and reconsider buying above 220 again.
Okay, thanks so much for that. Fidai, Raja, what's your sense on the counter?
Coal India, by its nature, is a quite sluggish stock, and right now, yes, the chart is trying to bottom out. But then I'm not seeing any support from the momentum indicators. So I would like to wait for more time and bide some time to see if there is a pickup in the momentum before I initiate a long call.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on Coal India. And finally, we just have a few minutes left, and we'll just take a guest view on the Nifty. It's trading at the day's high. It's up almost close to 100 points. Raja, up 100 points. At this stage, if someone wants to take a trade, should they buy the Nifty? Should they short it, or should they avoid?
They should avoid shorting for sure, because the lower levels on the gap region around 12,020 to 12,050 is a good vantage point for buying. So yesterday was a good opportunity because it dipped down into those zones. So any dip near those zones could be bought into. If you're buying now, you should have an approach to buy it on dips also. The upside is capped around 12,225 for the moment.
Okay, and what's your sense on this?
Well, I would prefer to buy on dips on Nifty up to 11,900. Okay, if it happens, and if it doesn't, then one should keep yesterday's low as a buying area, that is 12,050. 12,025, and on the upside, if it crosses 12,250, then you can expect it to go all the way up to 12,550 also.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on the Nifty itself. But with that, it's a wrap on today's edition of Hot Money. Ask BQ comes up next. Stay tuned to BloombergQuint. I forgot to thank our guests who've come in today. Raja and Fidai, thank you so much for coming in today. Ask BQ comes up next. Stay tuned to BloombergQuint.